Okay, in this video I'll show you what I want you to have ready by the time we come in Thursday if you can. I'm going to do it in one take, so there may be some mistakes I make, but I'll correct them as I go. So first we need to have data validation to do a drop-down menu to select a city. So we go to Data, again to Data Validation. Data Validation, you select List, and then you type right here for the source, type Atlanta, comma, Birmingham, comma, Reno. And so it's important that we don't misspell any of these, and the reason we have a drop-down menu is now no one can misspell Atlanta, Birmingham, or Reno. Now we want to have this cell, this column, to be wider, so we go from the white to make the white cross and black cross right here and double click on the mouse. And now we have Birmingham. Now I'm just going to make up a formula. My formula is A parentheses times B times C plus D, which is a kind of a nonsense formula. You're going to put in your own formula to value the museum, the road track, or whatever, and we'll talk more about that later. We're just going to put in some random numbers here, and it's going to be equal to A times open parenthesis B times C plus D close parenthesis. So you're not typing the number in, you're putting in the formula. So I come back and change any of these numbers and the formula changes. By the way, you can do Control Z to undo something and Control Y to redo it. So if I type in 5 and then Control Z, it undoes it. Control Y goes forward. So that's my formula. And by the way, the way I'm doing this to make it look good, note I've started in cell B2. Should have every one of your spreadsheets should start in cell B2 with column A small, and then I have a break between columns C and E, make column D small. And A and B are my variables that are most important. I don't know, maybe they're the number of customers, maybe it's the profit per customer. I don't know what it happens to be in whatever formula we're using, but they're going to be different. And I want to get rid of this actually. Control X, I'll move it down here. Control V to paste it. And I want to move all this down one, so I can do Control X and then Control V to move it down one. So my A variable, I might have a different range for each city. So I have Atlanta, Birmingham, and Reno. And Birmingham is a little longer word, so I just double click right there. So maybe for customers in Atlanta, I think I'll have more of them. So maybe I'll start at, have at least 2 customers, and I'll go in increments of 5. And for Birmingham, maybe I'll have at least, and I'm just making numbers up again, 5 customers in increments of 3. And here maybe 7 customers in increments of 4. B variable, whatever it happens to be, I'll just make up some other numbers. Maybe this is 10 increments of 2. Maybe this is 20 in increments of 3. Maybe this is 30 in increments of 4. So all I'm trying to get you to do now is not the actual numbers we're going to do later, but just can you make the data table work. So to make the data table work, first we need to have the formula. So here's our formula. Notice I'm not typing in here numbers, I'm typing in cell references, and if I click in this formula bar, those cells light up. And then I have different ranges that the numbers can be based on the different cities. So I'll come over here and I'm going to do my data table. And so I do equal this. And I'm going to make this, I'm just going to do Atlanta first. So I'm just doing Atlanta, and then we'll think about how to add Birmingham and Reno later on. So I'll go ahead and I'll change this to Atlanta. And then for Atlanta, this is going to be my A variable across the top. So I'm going to write right here A variable. Now you would give it the real name if this were, number of customers or sales or whatever it happens to be. You would not call it A variable. And then my start value, I reference back to this 2. And then my increment, so I want to go 2, 7, 12. I want to count up. I probably want to do about 5 of these going across. There's no rules how many I do, but probably about 5. So equal this plus the increment. Now, I want you to notice one thing. If I press F4, see the dollar signs appear? That locks down that cell reference. Hit enter. If I copy this over, and the way you copy something the fastest way, let the white cross become a black cross right there in that lower right hand corner, and then drag this across by holding down the left mouse. So I'll drag that over 4. So I have 5 of these. 2, 7, 12, 17, 22. If I double click, notice the formula. Here in 7, I have L3 plus F5. Over here I have M3 plus F5. So when I copy this over, the L3 became an M3, but this stayed the same because I didn't lock this down, I did lock that down. And then I want to make this look good, so I want this to be centered, so I go to Home, I go to Alignment, and under Alignment, my computer's a little slow, Horizontal, Center Across Selection, click OK. So that's my A variable. So my B variable would do the same thing, equal the start value, and then equal the start value plus the increment, lock it down, F4, and go down, I don't know, I'll go down 5 of them. Well, maybe that's too many. No, that's good. I'll do it by 5. And this is where you always determine, well, how far should I go with this? I don't really know. And then I'm going to take these cells right here, and rather than center like I did here, I'm going to merge and center, and I'm going to make my text rotate up, and I'm going to call this B variable. And then that's centered, so I can actually do this a little bit to make it look the way I want it. And that's B variable, and I'll make this a little bit smaller. And now I'm ready to do my data table. So I'll review this in just a second. So I'll highlight all of this, and here's what I'm going. Here's what I'm trying to do. I have this complicated formula, and I don't know that A and B. I don't know that they're 2 and 3. They may be something else. So sorry, that's 10. I don't know that they're 2 and 10. They could be something else. So rather than saying, well, I think it should be 5, and I put a 5 in here, I can create this data table over here that's going to calculate the formula based on changing the input for A across here and input for B across here. So Excel knows how to do that because here I have a formula that references this more complex formula. So I highlight all of this, and I go to Data, What If Analysis, Data Table. My row, in the row is the A variable, so I click on the A in my original setup and my original base case scenario. My B variable is in a column, so I click on this, click OK. And look at this, if I put in 12 for A and 18 for B, look, so if I put in 12 for A and 18 for B, it's going to come out to be 1152. 1152. So rather than me putting in 2, 7, 12, 17, whatever, and in for A and these numbers in for B, they're all right here. Well, this is real difficult to see. So I want to make this a little prettier, and probably big numbers may be good and small numbers may be bad, maybe something like that. So if I put in, let's put in 12 and 4 and 16, 12 and 16. So this is my base case. This maybe is what I think is going to happen. If you make me really guess the numbers, this is what I think is going to happen. Highlight all of this. Come here, conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, everything that's greater than my base case that's good, so I call that green, and then come back to the conditional formatting, everything that is less than my base case that's bad, let's call it red, come back to conditional formatting, everything that's equal to my base case, that's right on the line, let's call that yellow. And so now I have the red is when the value is too low, the green is when the value is nice and high. I probably want to format that. So I have the commas. And now let's make it just a little bit prettier. I want to insert a row there because I like to have that down one. So Control plus, shift the cells down. And right here, I want to know that I'm dealing with Atlanta. So I'm going to say equal if this equals in quotes. Actually, I can just do this. Equal. I'm going to do this even though I want to show you how to do an if statement. So I could do this without an if statement, but I just want to teach you how to do one. So I'm going to do it maybe a little harder way. I want to do equal, type the I. See if comes up, I do a tab. If this is equal to, in quotes, Atlanta, comma, then put the word put ATL, comma, if this is equal to, in quotes. I have to use the quotes because it's a word. If it was a number, I wouldn't have to use quotes. Birmingham, comma, put BHM. So you know what? I'm going to change all this. I'm going to change this from being I told you I was doing this in one thing. I'm going to change this to ATL BHM. So now with this if statement, equal if this equals in quotes ATL, give me in quotes Atlanta, and if this is equal in quotes I forget which way I did this, BHM I think, comma, then give me in quotes Birmingham, and then otherwise give me Reno. If. So that changes to whichever one. Now I want to center this to make it look a little bit better. So home, center across selection, click OK. And let's see, the next thing I want to do, if this says Atlanta, so I'm doing the same kind of if statement, equal if this equals in quotes ATL, then give me the 2. If it's not ATL, then is this equal to BHM, in which case give me the 5. Either one of those, it must be Reno. So look, if I change this from Atlanta to Birmingham, it changes to that 5. Now I need to do the same thing here. So this will be equal to the start value plus if this is equal to, in quotes, ATL, then give me this, lock it down, F4, plus if, not plus, comma, if this, is equal to BHM, comma, give me this one, lock it down, comma, this one, lock it down, close parentheses, enter. Now copy this over. And now I can do the variable for Atlanta. And look, 257. I didn't lock everything down right, I don't think. Yes, I did not lock everything down right. I had to lock down this, lock down this, enter, copy this across. Again, the white cross became a black cross and I copied. Look at Atlanta, it goes up, starts with 2, goes up by 5. Change this to Birmingham, starts with 5, goes up by 3, using this count right here. Change this to Reno. Now I need to do the B variable. So it's the same type thing, equal if. Try pausing the video and see if you can do this on your own without watching me do it, and then come back and do it. If this is equal to, in quotes, ATL, then give me this start value, comma, if tab this is equal to, in quotes, BHAM, give me this start value, comma, this one, close parentheses, enter. And then the increment equal this plus if this, lock it down at 4, equals, in quotes, ATL, comma, this one, lock that down, comma, if tab this, lock it down, equals, in quotes, okay, equals, in quotes, BHAM, comma, this, lock it down, comma, this, lock it down. So let's go through all of them and see if they work. Starting with Atlanta, so you gotta check everything you do. You should start with 10 and count by 2, it does. Start with 2, count by 5, and it does. Go to Birmingham, starts with 5, counts by 3, starts with 20, counts by 3, goes to Reno, starts with 7, counts by 4, starts with 30, counts by 4. It's exactly what we want it to do. So the last kind of thing to do here is when we show this for presentation purposes, I think it looks good to do something maybe like this, where I highlight all of this. Actually, I make this smaller, highlight this entire thing, and then come back here to View and get rid of the grid lines. And now you have it. Now you can come right here and you can, so here's the purpose, is what we have. Just kind of review, and this will be the last thing. We have the 4 groups. One's looking at the museum, one the racetrack, one the flights back and forth from Germany, and the other the restaurant in the 3 different cities. So wherever group you are, you're going to have a formula, and we'll talk about this Thursday, that values the museum, the racetrack, the cost of the flights, the restaurant, whatever. So let's say the formula is A is this, A times B times C plus D. You need to have estimates of those inputs, and those inputs would be like the number of customers, the price, the amount of money you make per customer, the value of marketing per customer, and it's going to vary in each city, right? So you don't know exactly how many people are going to be showing up. I'm going to look at A and B. A may be the number of customers, and B may be the profit per customer. I'm not sure which are the 2 most important variables, but I'm going to pick them out and do this data table. which means I'm not really sure they're 12 and 16. So I'm going to say for Atlanta, I know at least A starts at 2, and it goes from 2 to 22, so in increments of 5. And for Birmingham, I think it starts at 5 and goes up in increments of 3. In Reno, I think it's at 7. And then the B variable, the same thing. So I can look at the value of the museum, the value of the restaurant, the value of the racetrack, the cost of flying people over. That's what these numbers are. And I have my base case where I say, I think Atlanta is going to look like this, right? And so I can say this is what I think Atlanta is going to be. And now anything over this 1032 is in green. That means if we have this situation, the value of the restaurant or museum, whatever, is above our base case, that's good. So I know that's a lot to throw at you, but I think this can look good when you do a presentation, because when you do the presentation you can say, here's what we assumed and here's what it looks like for Atlanta. There it is for Birmingham. There it is for Reno. And if you don't think I had the right start value for Reno, okay, I'll change the start value and I'll change the increment for both of them. And you can look at those numbers and hopefully that'll be good. So we'll talk more about this, of course, on Thursday, but hopefully you can get this working, then we'll put the real numbers in.